Well, hey everyone, and welcome back to the homestead. Today I'm back in the kitchen, and today I'm going to give a shot at, these are the two duck breasts, and we're going to go ahead and get those sous vide. We're going to get the process started today. We'll probably finish it up tomorrow, but we're going to go ahead and kind of get this started. So the first thing we need to do, I'm going to go ahead and pull these two duck breasts out, kind of lay them on the cutting board here. The first thing we want to do is turn over and kind of trim them up, get rid of some of the excess fat. So kind of take some of this off here. Maybe take some of the excess fat off here. Now you don't want to get rid of that fat, let's leave it. And then if you can see here, there's a little bit of silver skin. Kind of stick your knife under there and see if we can go ahead and take that out. Might be easier said than done. Just trying to make sure I don't cut myself in removing all this skin here. And we'll do the same thing on this one. Cut some of this excess fat off. Try to trim this up a little bit. Try not to skewer myself too much. I'll come take some of the silver skin off here. And we'll kind of leave that right there like that. And clean up some of this here maybe. There we go, we'll leave that. Now the next thing we need to do, actually I guess the next thing I need to do is go stop the bleeding on my thumb. I poked it a little bit, so I'll be right back. Okay, all bandaged up now. This is a little fillet knife I bought from Cabela's, and this thing is stupid sharp. When I butchered these ducks back in December, I did it that time. I don't know how many times I cut myself, but it's so light and sharp. All it takes is one little slip and you can cut yourself with it. Now one thing I'm noticing on these that I've not seen in other videos is right in here is a kind of a silver skin, kind of like you could take this whole part off here and almost kind of down here, but I'm going to leave those where they're at right now, and we'll see how well that kind of does. So the other thing that needs to happen before we put it in the sous vide is we need to score the skin. This is for the purposes of so that the fat can render right. So hopefully I can do that, and that's kind of why I got this really sharp knife, so I can score the skin with no issues, and hopefully not score mine. I'm going to stand up here for a minute because I kind of want to be over this. And what this does is it lets the fat render out. don't know. There we go. It's all scored. Hopefully we can, hopefully it'll render all right. So we'll leave that. We'll put fat back in the bag here. This is the stuff I'm going to get rid of. I'll put that on the plate. Now the next thing, all we want to do here is just go ahead and season these up, which is going to be basically just salt. That was the recipe that I saw. They said simply add salt, and this is whatever my wife has. It's a sea salt of some kind. I know that. I'll do that. Flip it over onto the other side. Put salt over there. And that's that. Now the next thing, I'm going to grab the, I've already made up a food saver bag. All I'm kind of doing here is turning it over. And we'll take the duck breast and we'll put them in the bags here. And I'm putting the skin side on the smooth side of the bag. That's the presentation side. Try to make sure those guys are nice and flat. Now I need to go vacuum seal these guys up, so I'll be right back. Okay, so if you can kind of see this here, I've got this in the food saver, putting this, there's this little tray here. I want to make sure that's there. I want to make sure everything's flat. Try to get as much of the air out of it already as we can. We'll kind of close this up. Now I tend to hold it down here and hold it. I want to make sure both quarters are, and then you press the vacuum and seal button here. Give it a minute to go ahead and seal. And that's that. That's not a perfect vacuum right offhand, but it'll get the job done. And so now I've got my sous vide set for 132 degrees. Let me show you what we've got going on. So you can see there the sous vide machine is set up. It's already set at 132 degrees. So all I'm going to do at this point is just take the duck breast, kind of set them in there. And we'll let those cook now for an hour and a half. 132 degrees for an hour and a half. And then I'll be back. Okay, so it's been an hour and a half. I have taken these out. This is what they look like at the moment. But I'm not ready to sear these off tonight. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning. So I'm going to put these in the refrigerator and chill them. And then we will come back tomorrow and go ahead and sear them off and cut them up and create a meal out of them. So we'll come back tomorrow and see how well these go. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so we've finally gotten around to taking the duck breast out of the refrigerator. I'm going to go ahead and sear it up now. My wife's been out of town for the whole weekend. She just got back in, so I'm going to make some duck breast over a garden greens kind of thing. So I've got some amaranth that I'm going to wilt down with some garlic and some onions that are all straight from the garden. And so we'll do that, but we'll do the duck breast and we'll place that on top of that. That's kind of the idea of doing this tonight. So let's get busy. I'm probably not going to be looking at the camera. I'm going to kind of put the phone over so you can kind of see on top of the skillet. And this is all going to be done in one skillet at a different time. So Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and open up the duck breast here. And kind of set it here. You know what? I want to grab a couple of paper towels, because one thing I do know is we want this dry as we can get it. Phone's in the way, I keep banging into it here. I'll kind of do that. Probably should have taken this out a while back. Go ahead and get it to drying. Let me go dump this into the sink. I'm bringing you with me. Okay, so, okay, where'd my paper towels? Oh, I set stuff down and totally forget where I put it. Happens frequently. Don't get old. It's difficult. Now these duck breasts are completely cooked. All we're basically looking to do here is sear them off. I've got the skillet heating up now. It's getting real hot already. I'm trying to just make this good and dry. And then we'll just kind of leave that down in there. Go ahead and turn. I'll lay that down. And I need to find a, I'm going to turn the fan on. And a little splatter guard. I know I've got this over here. I'm going to give that a couple of minutes. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and turn the fire off on this completely now. Actually, I suppose I should lower it down to just low. I think that'll work, so I need to get my fire started again. I'll put that down on real low right there. So we'll sit there and let that render down. So I'm going to let that render down, and I'll come back to you in a little bit. So one of the things I'm going to go ahead and start doing here is take that off. I'm going to try and baste the meat side of the duck, so they can kind of warm it up at the same time. And just using, this is all the juices or the fat that came from the fat already, just in a matter of a couple of minutes. So the whole purpose here is just to kind of heat it up and to get the skin good and seared. I'm kind of curious. Let's go take a look and see what we got going on here. Oh, that's looking really good. Let's flip these over. Give these a couple of minutes, a minute or so on that side. And this will be ready. Let me give you a little closer look. That's looking good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take these off. Set them over here so that they can rest. While that's happening, I'm going to pour off some of this fat. Now let me go get the ingredients for the pan sauce that I'm looking for. I'll be right back. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to 3/4 of a cup of wine. And then 3/4 of a cup of poultry broth. And a tablespoon of butter. I'll kind of let that kind of reduce down there for a little bit. And while I'm waiting on that to reduce down, I'll come back to you when it's done. Okay, I'm coming back to you. The reduction sauce has come down. It's reduced down to that much right there. I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. I went ahead and put some of the duck fat back in here. I'm going to let that heat up, and I'm going to start making my garden, what you call it, I don't know, garden greens kind of thing. So I'm going to put some onions in here. Go ahead and get those caramelizing at the moment. And get those sweating down. Let those absorb all that duck goodness. This is going to end up being amaranth, onion, and garlic. I definitely want this onion to get good and soft. And these are some red onions that I had planted in the garden. We're in a zone that needs short day onions, and these are long day onions according to the folks there. There was no writing on the package, so they're just red onions. So I just kind of left them in, decided to go and harvest them when I need them, kind of deal. It's one of those I need to go ahead and get them out of the ground. Probably do that about the time I go harvest all of my onion seeds from all my white ones. Kind of waiting for these to kind of get a little translucent. They're getting there. I'll do that, and then I'll throw some garlic in there and let it get start doing this thing, and we'll wilt down some greens. So with that, let me get that done, and I'll. Okay, so my battery picks the worst possible time to go ahead and die when I'm trying to get all this finished up. But these are all amaranth greens, and these have all wilted down, and so what we're going to do, and kind of create a little bed here of greens. I need this divided into two, so that's why I'm putting some of those back. So I'm making a nice little bed like that. Now I'm going to come over here, see if we can do this without breaking anything. I'm going to take one of these duck breasts, and we'll go ahead and slice it up. Kind of lay that out like that. And there we go. It's duck breast over a bed of greens. And then the final thing here, let's go ahead and take some of this reduction sauce. Kind of pour that over the top of that. It's probably a little thinner than I think I would have liked. It would have been nice to be a little bit thicker. But there we go. Anyway, before my battery dies, God bless, have a great week, and we'll see you on the next video.